Hello, hello, and good day. I'm your Baker Patrick. Welcome back to the Fresh Baked Niche podcast. And today, it's going to be kind of a quick one. I had a kind of a rough week. It was hard to get some timing to film and just due to everything else. I'm going to keep this one kind of small. Don't know what it's going to end up being, but hey, you know what? I appreciate you for coming along anyways. So, getting into it, I just kind of want to talk about Grand Archive for a little bit. So, for those unfamiliar, it is a trading card game that has grown in popularity significantly since its inception. I don't actually know exactly when it came out. I just know it was a couple of years ago. It had a Kickstarter. It was very successful, and they have just blown up. I mean, they recently had one of their biggest world events. They're gearing up for the next one. I mean, their sets are just popping off. It is a ton of fun to play. I only found out about it thanks to my time at Too Many Games. There was a store doing some demos for various games, and that was one of them. Me and my buddy tried it out a few times, actually, and, I fell in love with it. It's a really solid game. So, for those unaware, it is a anime-style, but Western-inspired TCG. It takes some beats from other games, but it does a lot of its own stuff. First of all, it has an extra deck, as well as a main deck. So your main deck is 60 cards. You cannot have more than 4 of any card. I mean, barring, banned and restricted. And, yeah, I mean, you're basically free to do whatever there. You also have a material deck. Your material deck is the sauce, basically. These are 12 cards that stay outside of the main deck. Things like your key items, your champion. So the way the game works is at the start of your turn, the first thing you do is materialize, or in this case, go into your material deck and take something out, and you grab your spirit. So the way the spirit works is it costs nothing. It is a level 0 entity, and it enables you to play your other cards, because this game does color in a really fun way, where your spirit dictates what you can and cannot play. So for example, if you play the basic Spirit of Water, well, now you can play water cards. No problem. Same with Wind and Fire. The only exception here is the Spirit of Slime, which enables you to play slimes of any of the basic colors, which are Wind, Water, Fire. So that's pretty cool. And then to play cards, what I really like is all cards are resource, but it's not permanent. So let's just say, for example, you want to play a card that costs 2. You take 2 cards out of your hand, put them down into something called your memory, so face down, and then you just get to play the card. I mean, obviously you can say you're going to play the card and then pay it either way. It costs 2, and that's it. You just keep doing that. When you're over, it's your opponent's turn. They go. What's really cool about this game is it is one of those ones where the first player cannot attack, but what's really neat about it is you technically can't attack because player 2 technically doesn't exist. So after the very first player goes, player 2 goes, and then they finally materialize their spirit. Now there's something you can attack. Now there's stuff. But there's no summoning sickness, there's no weird delays. I mean, sure, some stuff comes in tapped, basically. I think it's rested. And that's fine, but for the most part, you just go, do your thing. Now, when your turn comes back around, first thing you'll always do is materialize, which some of them have costs, and if it has a cost, the way you do it is let's just say you want to level up your champion. What you do is, I think they all cost 1. So randomly, you take a card from your memory, roll a dice, have your opponent pick, however you do it, and you banish it. So it's gone from the game for good. And then you just take that card out of your material deck, put it right onto your spirit, bang. Same thing with any of your other regalias, your weapons, blah, 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 blah. Then you get to recollect, which means you take all the cards in your memory and you put them back in your hand. Then you draw. So, yeah, if you can't play something early on, you can use it as a resource. And then eventually when you can play it, you use the chumpy stuff you don't want to be using later down the line as your cost. I love the balance. I love the flow. It's really sick. I'm going to be truthful. I've been out of card games for a while. I think I've mentioned this before. And this is the first time I've been really happy with a game. I mean, I'm going to locals all the time. According to my stat sheet on Omnidex, I've gone to 5 events, which sounds about right. I have won a total of 3 games. I am dog shit at this game, but that is perfectly fine. I am getting there, and if any of the fellas are hearing this, don't at me. You know that's true. But to be fair, I have been running what is essentially the out-of-the-box Sylvie deck, which is a slime deck. It's fine, it works. I have ordered the cards, a couple of them are in the mail. It's taken a minute for them to get here, but hopefully we'll fix it up, it'll be better. There's also a whole fresh new meta because the brand new set, Distorted Realms, just came out. There's some cool shit in there. There's some really fun stuff, but boy oh boy, it just keeps getting handed to me over and over again. You know, that's fine though. I'm having so much fun with this game, I don't care if I win or lose. I like the interactions, I like how you play around things, because, like, case in point, one of the coolest things you can do in this game is just how you do the timing. So, like, my new favorite thing right now is there's this card called the Backup Charger. It sits in your material deck, and the way it works is it's free, you play it, at any point you can spend 3, you banish it, you get a power cell token, and you draw a card. But what's really cool is, because of how the steps of a turn play out, you can bring this thing out, and if you have 3 cards in your hand, you can immediately use its effect, draw that extra card, and then you return all those cards to your hand during recollection. Like, that is so sick. And shoot, a recent tech I just found out, there's this thing where you can make certain characters go distant, and the way distant works is it increases their damage, and I believe it also reduces incoming damage. I might be a little confused there. I don't use the cards a lot, but what I now know is it only turns off at the end of your turn. So if you were to say, do this during your opponent's turn, well, at the start of your turn, they're still distant. So anything that takes into account your characters being distant, well, guess what? They are. So, you know, it's those little interactions I like. I also enjoy the fact that it's not, like, crazy combo heavy. I mean, I'm sure everybody can agree with me right now. Rile the Abyss is freaking nuts, and just all the stuff you can do with the Spectres is just crazy. But there aren't, like, infinite combos like Magic. There aren't enough cards, and the way it's set up is there's really no way to have an infinite loop. The closest we have is this one deck that it lets... How do I want to explain this? There's an ability called Star Calling. The way it works is when you are looking at the top of your deck through an ability called Glimpse, you can choose to play one of those cards by paying its Star Calling cost. And then it puts everything that you were glimpsing immediately on the bottom, so you don't get a choice, but you get to play a card. And there's this regalia that makes it so all of your Star Callings cost 0. So if you have cards that say do something and glimpse, you can theoretically just go. Simultaneously, there is a card that gives everything Star Calling even if it doesn't have it. So if you set yourself up right, you can basically burn through your deck and just win. At least that's my general understanding. I mean, it's kind of alluded, it takes a bit to set up, and even that card, it's worded really funky. So basically, you can only play it if it's the last card in your material deck, but also that material deck had to have a full 12. So you couldn't say, I don't know, only have your Spirit up to your level 3 champion, and then also this card. So what is that, 5? No, you gotta play the full 12. And, you know, that's cool. And obviously there's ways to cheat it out. There's, like, the new Looking Glass that immediately enters play no matter whose turn it is, as long as it's, like, the first thing of the game. Quicksilver Chalice lets you just grab anything except for the card I was mentioning and put it under there so you can play it later. You know, there's some funky stuff you can do, and that's cool. But nothing's, like, too crazy. I mean, I've seen some nuts stuff, trust me. The freedom to build, the freedom to do things, it's astounding. I like it a lot. I didn't mention this before, but I will mention this now. So, as I said, you do start off with one of your basic elements, unless you're slime and then you get all 3. Well, what's really cool is, so, you know, you probably are playing a champion. Let's just use an example, say Lorraine, because she's really popular right now. If you notice, she starts off as Norm, so the normal element. Nothing really special for the first 2 levels. But when you hit level 3, all of a sudden, Crux. What that does is that now enables you to play your Crux card, so that's one of those really cool things, because, I mean, in the case of the Sylvie deck, yes, she is Terra, but she also enables all of your, quote, advanced elements, so I'm not really sure what else to say on this game. I mean, if you haven't seen it or somehow heard of it, you know, check out the Reddit, check out YouTube. There's a bunch of gameplay videos. If you can find it, watch the Worlds live stream. It is a ton of fun. I am having a great time with it, and this is the first time in a long time I've really been happy with a game. I am, however, looking forward to post Ascent Boston, because my locals right now is nothing but people playing their tournament decks, just trying to get used to them, and I am but a silly little guy who needs a smaller power level. I could get competitive, but I was looking at a deck recently and it was over $500 to buy all the parts. Now I do have some of them, but it's still going to cost you an arm and a leg, and that is... whew. I'm committed, but I'm not that committed right now. I'll buy some stuff here and there. Like I said, I did pick up some stuff for the Sylvie deck, and a good number of it is stuff that I can use in other decks, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. So, you know, thank you for listening to me ramble on. I know this is a little bit weird one, and I do apologize. Hopefully some things will calm down here in my life, and maybe we can get back into some normalcy. I'll plan things a little bit better, but thank you for baking with me today, as always. If you found this enjoyable in any fashion, please consider dropping a like and maybe a subscription. It really helps out the channel and shows me what people like and want to hear. And until next time, have a good day, and goodbye.